Happy Wednesday. Is that better? Checkity check check check. I was muted. All right, let's do this. Scott Baylor. Let's do this. I did have a good holiday break. Busy with the kiddos. Busy. Okay, Mark. Happy New Year from Texas. Texas. Good morning, Trace and Jimmy. Happy New Year to you, Nick. What's up? I wonder when they did that commercial if they ever knew that it was going to be just become part of the zeitgeist forever for annoying like middle-aged dudes to go, what's up? Good afternoon and Happy New Year to you, John. Yay. Good morning, Ken. Simon, Happy New Year from the UK. Happy New Year to you from America, United States of Movie Junkie. Hey man, do you think that? Ooh, getting right into the questions. Dispensing with the pleasantries. Do you think the IEMA T9 will have any issue driving two Jamo S807 tower speakers? I wouldn't think so for a small office. Ooh, you're putting towers in an office? No, I think you'll be fine. I don't remember exactly what the sensitivity of that speaker is, but it didn't jump off as being super difficult to drive. Father of Octopus, Happy New Year's. Must be using laptop microphone. Sounds distant. Is that better? Hold on, let me check the mic. Let me check the mic. No, I don't even have a mic. It's got to be this one. Default. Oh, yeah, hold on. That's the speaker. Audio. Hold on. Let's do this. Does that sound better? Is that better? Sorry, I was using the mic on the camera. Maybe that's better. Tell me, is that better? John? Check. Scott says it's much better. A lot better. Hi-fi now. Yeah, I'm not very good at this. Still not very good at this. Wow, what a difference. Yeah, I'm not very good at this. But thank you, John, for bringing that up. Yeah, I was on the wrong mic. Too many mics. Dan B. Bingo. Happy New Year, KP. You're in San Diego. Ooh, but the weather is beautiful. Beautiful. I wish Marantz would offer a sub $500 amp offering. I know it's unlikely. Yeah, probably. Because they go through all, unless it's like a direct to customer product, which would be cool. I would love to see that. I would love to see some of these bigger companies or legacy companies like Marantz, Polk, them. I would love to see them come out with a direct to customer product. I think that would be really cool. It would probably really upset their dealer network though. Denon, Unkia, Pioneer. I need a replacement remote for SMSL M500 Mark II. Bummer. I think they're pretty like universal. Probably go on their website. Probably go on Amazon and see what they have. I think they're 10 or 15. Somebody told me they're $10 or $15. So not terrible. Just got a Rotel CD11. Can I put active loudspeakers on that to begin audio system? I'm from France. Yes. You can just go RCA out of the CD player into the powered speakers. As long as the powered speakers have a volume control, then you will be good to go. Absolutely. Keeping with the CD topic, CD player recommendations. It depends on how far you want to get into it. If you're just going to play around with it, go get a DVD or Blu-ray player, a cheap one with a digital output, and then input that into your DAC or your receiver stack. And then you got a CD transport for not a lot of money. If you really want to get into it and you want like a dedicated CD player or transport, Cambridge Audio has a couple. They have a true transport, I think, for around $600. And then they have a player for around $350 that can also do a digital out. Emotiva has one. I can't remember what the model number is. A little bit more expensive though, but it also stands as a standalone DAC. And then I think Yamaha has some. There's a few out there. But if you're not getting like, if you don't want to get like super into it, just get a Blu-ray or a DVD player. You can probably find one on Facebook Marketplace for $20. Heck, I think you can go into Best Buy and buy a new DVD player with a digital output for $20 or $30. Boston here. Hey, Chuck. What do you think of Polk ES20? I haven't heard the ES20s. I have the ES15s and I like them quite a bit. I imagine the ES20s are probably pretty good. Probably going to pack a big punch, but the enclosure is probably a little boomy, which if you're not, unless you're the most discerning of audiophile, I imagine the ES20s would be a lot of fun, but that's pure speculation on my part because I don't have them and I haven't heard them. Got the Liberty Pro 3s for Christmas. Love them. Thanks for the rec. I like those. I like those earbuds a lot. Although I've been using the Liberty 4s as of late. All right. I'm selling my old Polk Monitor 10s. Just too damn big and heavy. Yeah. Don't blame you. CD player, Vincent CD200. It's a hybrid. Hey, if you like the stream, please, if you're in here. Hey, Wayne Bardo got the Liberty. Oh, sorry, I already read that one. Sorry, Wayne. I don't recognize you in the chair in the middle of the Serengeti. I have an old Denon. That's great. Great. Any thoughts on the Between Pro earbuds? I haven't heard those. I have not heard them. Also, does YouTube Music have a higher bitrate version? I don't know. I've never used YouTube Music, so I don't know. I think, if I remember correctly, it's 320 kilobits per second, which is basically the same as Spotify. I think. Don't quote me on that, though. Mark, love my IEMA T9. Thanks for getting me into IEMA and Sony SSCS5. A second system that rivals my main setup. Isn't that fun when you don't spend a ton of money and you're like, man, this sounds really good? Those are the best stories. I always like those. Excuse me. I saw Walmart has a Monster brand DAC for sale. Huh. I was amazed they even had DACs in the store. In the store? Wow. Wow. That's crazy. Are you sure it's not just like online? Like you saw it in the store? Because I would be really interested in that. Any New Year's resolutions? Not really resolutions. I do want to get healthier. I went to the doctor today, actually. So I want to lose 20 more pounds. I've lost 15 already, which is cool. But I saw myself on stage in Austin at a comedy club thing. And I had a buddy filming it. And I'm like, whoa, I am fat. And I am never going to get on stage that fat again. So losing weight. That's probably the only resolution. Put out more videos. I'd like to do that. I got to get like recovered though from the holidays with all the kids here, man, and putting out content. Like it was tough. So I just want to get back into the swing of things again and start getting a good tempo, good routine back from the holidays. Uh, Kodiak Bear. Good afternoon. Love the channel. Utah here. Oh, very nice. Whew, I'd love to go to Utah. I've been through it a couple of times. Never really stayed in Utah though. What do you think about the 123 Toyd Dynas speaker? I tried to build that. I love him, Toyd. He was the first guy that I watched that I learned a little bit about crossovers, and I actually talked to him once over the phone. He helped me out with a crossover. This is well before I had any aspirations of starting a YouTube channel. Great guy, very knowledgeable, has great projects and a great channel. And if you're not subscribed to Toyd's DIY or I think you should if you're into like speaker building and all. He has some really cool videos. What do I think about a 4.1 setup with a phantom center? I think it's great. I run it all the time. Some Netflix, for instance, they do like their Netflix movies that they put out a lot of times have a really low like dialogue. So I actually was running 4.1 on just about everything for a long time, except when I'd watch a Netflix show. I couldn't ever hear the dialogue. And if I did turn it up loud enough to hear the dialogue, then it was just like crazy loud for everything else. So I think for most things in most applications, a 4.1 is going to do you just fine. But certain mixes are going to be difficult to hear depending upon how they're mixed. So yeah. Utah, that's where I am sitting in that stone chair. Oh, Zion National Park. I had Father Roctopus sent me a link. Monster digital to analog combo audio converter. Pick up today at Fort Worth Super Center. Whoa. That's nuts. How cool is that? You can get a DAC at Walmart. That's crazy. I cranked up my center channel audio on my Denon AVR. Fixed it. Very cool. You cranked up the center channel even though you didn't have a center channel? Maybe I'm talking to a different person. We got a upvote. High five photo. Bree. He likes Zion National Park. Very good. Best speaker under $5,000. I'm the wrong guy to talk to because I don't really listen to. I think I've listened to a handful of speakers that are above like $2,000. So I'm not the right guy to talk to about that. I think the best speaker under $500, we'll divide by 10, is the Emotiva B2 Plus. I know, Brian. I knew that was you. Got the Fozzy Audio Box X2 phono amp to help my Fluence. Going through a Sony. Okay, very cool. Looking forward to sound improvements, hopefully. Yeah, I like that. That's a good phono preamp. Good phono preamp. Favorite bookshelf speaker? Right now, it's the Emotiva B2 Plus. Close second would be the Wharfdale. No, you can't see it. Be the Wharfdale Denton 80th. Love those. Love the Sonys, SSCS5s. Love the ELAC BS41s. But like, if it's my favorite, and don't take this as this is the best bookshelf speaker out there. My favorite is the best bookshelf for me is the Emotiva B2 Plus right now. Do you do stand-up comedy? No, but I was invited to do a thing in Austin for a radio show, and they had comics there, and we made some jokes and stuff like that. So no, never done actual stand-up comedy. I kind of would like to, maybe someday. 2 from Utah. I'm in Southwest. Very cool. Emotiva B2 Plus 690. Really? They went up that much? Wow. Any plans on reviewing the T9 Pro? I don't have it. Well, maybe I do have it here. There's a stack of boxes I haven't opened up yet. If they send it in, I'll for sure review it. Oh, there's a question about NAD. What's up, Ryan? Where's that NAD question? Here we go. What do you think about the NAD C356B? How would you compare an amp like that to the new budget amp under $400? I don't know if I've reviewed that one yet. Here, let me look it up. Let me look it up. Here, I got to move this window to the other screen. All right. NAD C356. Here, let me share my screen. Present. Share screen. Share screen. That one. Share. All right. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Here, let's go back out. Oh, I think this is the last of the class ABs. Let's see. 40 times 2, 8 ohms. Power drive. Large toroidal. Yeah, this is, I think, their last class AB. So I haven't heard it, but I would be more apt to get that one than any other NAD right now. How much is it? Sorry. It is $500. That's a little bit much for that. Let's see. Here, let me share the screen again. Let's see what it has. It's got a phono preamp. I think this is a tough sell compared to like the Cambridge Audio AXA35. Because I think that's $100 cheaper. Here, let's see if they have that one. Cambridge Audio AXA. Yeah, that's $400. So it's $100 less expensive. It's only 35 watts though. That's a tough sell. I'd probably get the Cambridge before I got the NAD. I've heard the 25. I haven't heard that one, but I haven't been super impressed with NAD. Let's see if we missed any super chats. Hello from New Mexico, Chris B. High five photo Brian. Says the B1 Plus are great. All right. Oh, here's a super chat. Dan ISO, $10. Thank you. Hey, Randy, Happy New Year. I have a near field desktop setup. Now also be my primary listing place. Which would you choose? IEMA 7 with Sparkos amps or Basics A2M Emotiva mini amp for $249. I'd go with the Emotiva. Here's the reason why. I'm not saying that like sonically it's going to be better, but I think in the long run, like you're going to have better support with the Basics if anything would ever go wrong. But yeah, that's what my choice would be if your budget allows. If your budget doesn't allow, then get the IEMA and then the Sparkos. That's a great combo, great sounding combo. Probably be a little bit cleaner than the Emotiva, but personally for me, I'd probably get the A2 Mini. That's what I would do. Yes, sadly, it feels like NAD lives more off their name often than the quality. I think it's just the Class D stuff. All the Class D stuff that I've had in here, number one, sounds exactly the same, and number two, doesn't sound as good as some like cheap Chinese stuff with the TI chips. So, yeah, I haven't heard an NAD Class D that I've been like, whoa, this sounds awesome. Greg Walrath, $10. Thank you. What am I losing if I replace my AVR Pioneer 305 with a processor stack, Emotiva MC1 and amps? What are you losing? I don't think you're losing anything. I mean, you lose, I guess, a streamer because you have like Spotify Connect, Tidal Connect. I think there's some other streaming capabilities. You're probably losing a fancy, the fancy app because Pioneer does have a pretty solid app. Is that the VLX VX305? I don't think you're losing. I think you're looking to gain a lot. I don't know. I'm sure that MC1 has Dirac. Pretty sure it does. So, no, actually, I think I have an MC1 in the other room. I have one of their processors. I just don't know which one it is. I just don't have an amp right now that'll work with it. So, yeah. Chris loves his NAD. Very good. AX835 is a Class D. No, AX835 is a chip amp, but it's not a Class D amp. So the chip controls the bias. So it is not a Class D. We actually talked about this, I think, last week. So not a Class D, but it does use a chip for bias. And it incidentally uses the same chip as the Akatika PT104, I believe, which is a Texas Instruments chip. Feliciano, $4.99. Thank you, my friend. Hey, I believe you like both these headphones. Sonic difference between HiFiMan XS and Meze 109 Pro. Those are very different headphones. So the Edition XS is going to be more sibilant. It's going to be cleaner, though, or you're going to hear more detail. I think it has a little bit punchier bass. The Meze 109 Pro is, I wouldn't consider to be a linear headphone, but it's I think the Meze 109s has a bit more layered soundstage and presentation to them. The top end's not going to seem as, and I'm not saying in your face because the Edition XS is not in your face. It's not going to feel as active on top, but there's a very nice mid-range warmth to the 109s. That 109 is a really good headphone, and it's way easier to drive than the Edition XS. Those two headphones actually are probably my favorite headphones right now, but for different reasons. If that makes sense. Love my Cost Porta Pro. I don't blame you, although I don't have the Porta Pro. I have the KPH. I can't remember the number. Are you losing Dirac? Dylan Gray. I don't know. Let's look it up. I don't think you are. Emotiva. MC Uno. RMC. What did you say? Oh, MC1. That's the receiver, right? I'm so silly. I got you now. Okay. All right. Okay. Meze are more U or V shaped. I don't think they are. I think the Edition XS are way more emphasized on the bottom than the Meze 109. But that is just me. Okay, Basics MC1 processor. All right, I don't see the MC1. RMC1, RMC1L, XM2. So are you talking about a used one? KPH 40. That's it. And I love them. And they are great. I do love them. Is the IEMA T8 better than the IEMA A07 amp, or would it be better with the Sony 192 channel? Ooh, Sony's really warm sounding, but I think it's like super smeary. Like it's not nearly as detailed. The A07 is good. The A08 or the T8. T8. I don't know the T8. I don't know that one. I know the T9. WiiM T8. Oh, T8's a preamp. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My brain's not working. Is the WiiM T8 better with the A07 or would it be better with the Sony? Okay, I get you now. A07. Sorry. A07. The Sony's great. It's big. The build quality is not great, and it's not nearly as detailed as the A07. So yeah. Bobby, sorry I'm late getting here. Do you mind starting over? I don't know. Let's go all the way back. Just kidding. That's a lot of scrolling. Polk, you came to Corpus Christi to our skit recently. Any plans to visit Emotiva in Tennessee? I did. I actually visited Emotiva, I think in October, November. There's a couple videos. Really good video. I like it. Not a ton of people watched it, but I did a factory tour and stuff like that. I thought it was a great video and a great time. So yeah. So I did visit them. It's back in the back catalog. Do we need room correction for stereo? If you answer yes, why there are no such features in 1K range? I don't really put a whole lot of stock into room correction. It exists, especially for bass issues, first reflections. But there are amps out there with Dirac, and Dirac is starting to be implemented into more and more 2-channel amps. The problem is Dirac is cheaper integrated into AVRs than it is into 2 channels. There are some NAD products out there that have Dirac in them, but they're multiple thousands. And to answer your question, why isn't it implemented? Because there's a 2-channel tax. If you're getting a 2-channel amplifier, especially if you get a 2-channel amplifier with HDMI e-arc, cha-ching, you're getting taxed on that. So yeah, 2-channel for whatever reason is just more expensive, probably because they sell a lot less of them than the receivers. So it's probably like economies of scale. 808 is pretty beefy. Drives my 6.2s in my gym. And I won't even go past half. I like the 808 Pro a lot. Thank you. I don't know if you're thanking me or somebody else, but you're welcome if you're thanking me. Hey, have you know Crystal Audio speaker brand? No, I don't. I haven't heard of them. You need a spectrum analyzer, different tool. Okay, I think you're talking to somebody else. Private sale, 125. Okay, Mark's talking to somebody. All right, we're gonna go all the way down. Hey, got the WiiM AO2. It's the standy uppy one. It was so cute. Did I mess up? What do you think? I don't know. I haven't heard the AO2. I'd imagine it's probably pretty good though. What would you choose between a budget AB like PMA 600 NE and here's a good question, and TPA 3255 amp? So the 600 NE is actually a little bit warmer than the TPA 3255s that I've heard. However, just because it has a 3255 does not mean that it's going to be great. Actually, Fuzzy Audio, their first iteration of a 3255 was not good. Their second updated version is much better. So I think the question is, do you mind a little bit of warmer tone, but very good? And do you want a DAC and a phono stage? Because the Denon PMA 600 NE is a really good integrated amp. And I would have kept mine but it was at the beginning of the channel and I needed money to buy more stuff. And I kept my Emotiva TA100 instead of the Denon PMA 600NE. So yeah. Yeah. I like that Denon though. It sounded really good. It depends. Like if you're on a budget, then get a, I don't know, A07 or A08 Pro or that Fozzy Audio. But if you can swing the Denon PMA 600NE, it's a good amp. Really good. Really, really good. And you have a phono stage and a DAC. Denon is loaded with cheap Chinese caps. I would argue that probably most things are loaded with cheap Chinese caps. Yeah. R.I.P. Denon. Wow, you blew my mind. I love 25 minutes from Emotiva. Oh, I love. In Murfreesboro. Greetings from Auckland, New Zealand. Aside from J2, E50, and the Aries 2 for DACs, what would be the next DAC recommendation down from your usual top 3? I think the SMSL SU9N, SU8 are pretty good. M500 Mark II is pretty good from SMSL. The only topping DAC that I really love is the E50. But the SMSL SU9N was good. Can you recommend a cheaper, this is from Dylan, cheaper alternative to the Pioneer 305, maybe in the $800 range or less? Unfortunately, Dylan, I just haven't played around with many home theater receivers. I'm not on the list to get stuff sent in from the AVR folks. So everything that I've got outside of the VLX VX305 has been, I've bought it personally. I could ask. But it's probably only going to be an Onkyo or a Pioneer because I don't really have a contact at Sound United anymore. But you should still get a J2. Chris. Yeah, I think the J2 is great. Yamaha RN602. Yeah, I don't think you can really go wrong with Yamaha. They make good stuff. I haven't listened to a Yamaha home theater receiver though. I have another one that's like 20 years old that's still working here somewhere. Have I ever listened to NAD from the 80s? I have not. But I've been told that their stuff from the 80s is really, really good. Hey, I had a query. Worth the extra $40 for the R1855 DB over the R1280 DB. Only these two available in India. Gifting to father. Oh, is this the edifier? If it is, I'm not familiar with either of those models. If it's not edifier, I'm really not familiar with any of those models. Hey, James, thank you for being a patron. There is always a best desk speaker, monitor speaker, and near listening reviews recommendations. Do you have a suggestion for bigger places at home, living room, etc., even multi-room gear? I don't know if I understand the question. And when you hear best, it's really best for you. Do you have a suggestion for bigger places at home, living room? And for speakers, I still run a lot of bookshelf speakers in bigger rooms. I just usually add a subwoofer. I'm a big bookshelf speaker guy, and I have a big room. I have 2 big rooms. Although I do have floor standers upstairs right now, the SVS. Yeah, I think sometimes people feel like floor standing speakers are better. I don't know. I've always been a fan of bookshelf speakers. If you get the right bookshelf speaker, it can fill up a room for sure. Going back to your earlier comments, do your thoughts on the NAD not being great extend to the Master Series stuff? I haven't heard any of those. That's a bit outside of the channel kind of ethos. So no. I think Ron at New Record Day has done some of the M series, and I think Andrew Robinson has done some of the M series on the NADs. So you can go, I'd go check out those channels. But yeah, the M stuff is just too expensive. And NADs never offered me any. Well, let me take that back. I think I think they sent me the 316 or something like that. 356. Floor standing speakers take up room and make the wife angry. Could be. How do you have build quality? Question mark. I saw a lot of Fozzy SMSL IEMA amplifiers, a lot of poor quality with sound distortion, noise, or maybe only bad ones send us to Russia. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, it's not like they're like the best built things on the planet. I mean, I've got one right here. Pretty simple. This one's built pretty well. Actually, I mean, I think the build quality on this is better than the Sony STR DH190. That's pretty flimsy. But if you just set it and don't mess with it, then I don't think they're bad. But I have no idea what you're getting in Russia. They could be sending you crappy ones. I don't know. The ones that I've received have all been decent. Is Onkyo still in business? Yes. Onkyo as a company, I believe, went bankrupt and is no longer. But even before they went bankrupt, they had already spun off their AVR business to the Klipsch Group, which is owned by Vox. So even a year before they ever went under, the AVR business had already been sold. So Onkyo will live on, but it's going to live on through the Klipsch Group, which is part of Vox. And frankly, they're probably about this exact same thing under the hood as most of the Pioneers. Maybe some differences, but yeah. What do I think about Canton speakers? I haven't heard any, but I've got some patrons who love them. Favorite DAC for 200 to 250, please. That would be the Gishelli Labs J2 and the Topping E50. Johnny Locke. Hey, Randy, really enjoy your videos. What would you recommend? I'm into bright sounding stuff. Locks G A30 / Topping MX5, RP600M, Wharfdale 12.2, Studio 530. Thanks a ton. Probably the Locks G A30. And take the Wharfdale out of there because they're pretty neutral, and so are the Studio 530s. So if you like bright, go with RP600M and then Locks G A30. Final answer. All right, did I miss any super chats? No. Have to give props to Emotiva as I bought the MC1 processor right after Black Friday. Then they dropped price by $300. I bought with 10% off, grumbled to them, and they credited me. That's cool. The Reverend Rockin' Billy. Happy New Year. Hope you're well. Thank you. I am doing well. Thank you. Mario Super. Thank you for reviewing the Polk XT20. I didn't. Oh, no, I did. Yeah. They were right up there. I did review the XT20. They're shockingly good. Better than my very expensive Dolly speakers. Greetings from Germany. Oh, that's cool. I'm glad you like them so much. I put them back in the box. I think they're in the garage. Sith Lord review of SVS sound bass AV receiver, please. I did it. I did the sound bass and the sound bass pro. Both of those videos are out. The sound bass from a long time ago. Sound bass pro, though, was somewhat recently. I think within the last month or two. What is the next B2 Plus alternative for similar money that has better looks? Okay. I don't know if there is one. Maybe the R200. from Polk. That's probably what I'll go with. R200. Have you ever heard about Hagel 870? What would be a good upgrade over the ELAC debut B5.2? I've heard of Hagel. I've never had any Hagels in here to review. A good upgrade over the ELAC debut B5.2? Emotiva B2 Plus. Let's see what else. Orfdale. Denton 80th. 5.2s are good speakers. I really like those speakers. I liked them better than the 6.2s. Yeah, those other speakers I mentioned. If you want something really fun, the Jamo C93 2s. I think they're still on sale. R3DFIV3. $10. Thank you. Stealing someone else's comment. Do you plan to review Schkit Multi-Bit 2? Interested in your opinion versus Shelly Labs J2? Yeah, I would be happy to. Actually, I should email them today. I haven't heard from them. Is it worth getting into SACD? I don't run multi-channel and it seems to be a dead format. Yeah, it's a dead format. But I mean, if you're looking into SACDs, just buy a Sony Blu-ray player or Ultra HD player, or Ultra Blu-ray, or whatever it is. They support SACD because it's a Sony format. So pretty much any of the Sony stuff is going to have SACD format. So yeah. Karam Malik. Hi, Randy. Pleasure seeing you live. I have a question. I have 2 front Polk signature S50 speakers. What do you think? But my center channel is Klipsch. Don't worry about it. I mixed and matched center and front channels for a long time. I only heard one movie that it was distracting. And it was a bad movie, so I wouldn't recommend it anyway. It was one of the Fast and Furious movies. It was the one without Vin Diesel in it. And that was the only movie I've ever heard where it was like the voices sounded incredibly different from the center and when they shifted over to the fronts. That's it. One movie. And I've run mix matched center speaker for years. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. You may have to pop down like 2 or 3K on the Klipsch center because it could be a little bit and maybe play with the levels a little bit to get it in line, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. Did you already have the opportunity to listen to Ragnarok during your visit to Schkit Factory? What are your impressions? I didn't do a lot of listening to anything because we were running around making lots of videos and stuff like that. So no, I didn't listen to it. I'm sure it's great. Which is best, Polk ES20 or XT20? I haven't heard the ES20. Personally, if it were me and I was choosing, I'd probably choose the ES20 without even listening to it because I think the build quality is a bit better, and they also use better drivers over the XT20. Not taking anything away from the XT20 because they're good. They sound pretty good. But you can just look at them and see the build quality difference. The XT20 is a lot more affordable speaker, and that's the speaker that like is in stock at Best Buy, not in the Magnolia section, but out on the floor. So it is definitely, the XT series is definitely Polk's entry-level speakers. Not saying entry-level is always bad compared to the mid-tier, but the ES Signature Elite series is Polk's mid-tier. So I would anticipate the ES20 is probably going to be a little bit better, maybe voiced differently though. I think the ES20s are a little bit warmer compared to the XT series, which I personally like. If you match the WiiM T8 with the A07, can you still use the A07 3.5 millimeter for sub out, or does the T8 override that? Depends on what you're using for volume control. If you're using the A07 for volume control, then absolutely you can use it for sub out, and it will increase the level on the subwoofer commensurate with the level of the speakers. However, if you're using the volume control on the T8, all bets are off because fundamentally the A07 becomes simply a power amp. So when you turn up the T8, you're not turning up the level out of the A07. So the 3.5 millimeter output on the A07 is a variable output, and the only way to vary that output is by using the included volume control on the A07, if that makes sense. Love the channel. Thank you, Jeff. Have you or would you review Peachtree audio stuff? I absolutely would, but they haven't sent me anything. I just got into Hi-Fi and bought a discounted Peachtree audio. I think they have a really good reputation. But yeah, I'd for sure review their stuff. Yamo S801 or PSB Alpha P3. PSB Alpha P3. But check the build quality, because I had a PSB Alpha P5 and the build quality is pretty shoddy. And the vent port, which was pretty much just a freaking, it was a plastic flange, and then inside it was mounted to a cardboard tube. There's nothing wrong with that because a lot of companies do that, but this cardboard tube was really cheap, and the glue failed, and it was inside the speaker. So, but the 801s are really good. I mean, 801s are going to be way cheaper than the P3s, I imagine. And the irony is I never had any issue with any of the Jamo S series quality issues, except for like some of the vinyl. If you move it around a bunch, some of that vinyl is going to start peeling up a little bit, but put a little super glue on there and you can fix that right up. I think the PSB is a better speaker, but the build is shoddy, and I think they're way overpriced compared to the 801s. Half the time they're giving the 801s away with the little 5-channel setup. Like $225, you can get a pair of S803s, pair of S801s in their center channel a lot of the time. And those little 801s are really good. Eddie, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Best DAC amp under $200 to pair with the Sony SSCS5s, mostly used for vinyl and streaming, Spotify, Amazon. Okay. Well, this one's pretty darn good. This is the Fozzy Audio, just did this review. This is the DA2120A. Okay. But this one's also pretty good. The IEMA T9. And this one's probably my favorite. This is an A08 Pro. But if you get this one, you're going to need to get a DAC if you're going to stream. It does have Bluetooth, but Bluetooth's not great. I think this is probably the best sounding one, and it's going to be putting out definitely the most power compared to the 2120C and the T9. And you're going to have to get a phono stage too, unless your turntable has an integrated phono preamp. But I think the 808 Pro is the best sounding. Brian Kingsnorth. Hey, from the UK. Hey, Brian. New to the channel, but love it so far. I have a name amp without a headphone socket, so I'm looking into headphone plus amp plus maybe DAC. Unless it's better to keep separates. It depends. I mean, if you're like want to go down the rabbit hole, then go separates. There's a lot of affordable options now to go separate. If you're into something that's kind of all in one, Cambridge makes the DAC Magic. That's a solid unit, and it's got a headphone amp and a DAC in it. It's really good. You can also look at the SMSL M500 Mark II. You can look at the the Topping DX3 Pro Plus. There's also a DX5, but it's pretty much not any better than the DX3 Pro Plus. Is the DAC and the Fozzy any good? Yeah, it is, but like, I don't know what it is. So it sounded clean to me. A British audiophile. Happy New Year to you as well. Is British audiophile in here? Taryn, are you in here? If you are, say hello again. Oh, there he is. Look. Hey, Taryn, Happy New Year. Randy, guys and gals, just popped in to say hi. Hey, buddy. Happy New Year. Don't be a stranger, Taryn. Reach out to me. Call me. Or text me or whatever. Good to see you, man. If you're not subscribed to Taryn's channel, which is a British audiophile, it is a fantastic channel. And Taryn's forgot more about hi-fi than I'll ever know. So great channel. One of my favorites. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah. Was given a bunch of 80s Technic audio stuff, but I don't ever see anyone talking about vintage tech. Is it garbage? No, not at all. Technique stuff is good. Depends on the year, though. Like after about 82, everything started going. If it's like 76 to 82, or actually any 70s to about 82, 83, chances are you're pretty good. Not to say that anything like 85 isn't good. It could be good, but like the golden age of receivers was 70 to about 82, 83. Yes, I'm here, buddy. We'll chat up soon. Great to see you. Awesome. Made my day. Good to see you, Taryn. It's got a cool name, Taryn. Sounds like a bird of prey. Taryn. It comes down, like picks up a rabbit out of the ditch, flaps off. I'm just making that up. I don't know. I just think Taryn's a cool name. Converted me to buy the AXA 35. He's smooth. Yeah, that's a good amp, man. Good amp. All right, PSP Imagine XB versus Alpha T20. I haven't heard the Alpha T20, but the Imagine XBs are good. I love them. Loved them. Tiny, but man, they sound much bigger. Much bigger. Like that speaker a lot. Hey, about the A08 Pro and Bluetooth, sounds great if your phone is 5.0 or better and you maximize it in the settings. There you go. I'm not a big YouTube. Not a big YouTube fan. I'm not a big Bluetooth fan. Because where did it go? Oh, because this exists. It's a little dirty. This is the WiiM Mini. And for $80, you can get an actual streamer. And then you'll have to 3.5 analog out of this into the A08 Pro. But get started with this. This is actually cheaper, like $70, $80 than a standalone Bluetooth receiver if it's decent. And it has a AirPlay 2, and it has Spotify Connect, Tidal Connect, and a fully functioning streamer. So like the WiiM Pro is so hard to beat. It's hard to beat. Yeah. Speaker cable help, bare wire or banana plugs. I personally use banana plugs because one, it's really convenient. And two, I don't have to worry about like stray wires, like touching anything with that. But I switch out cables quite a bit and change components around quite a bit. So I like banana plugs for their convenience, but there's also something to be said about their ability to like not have to worry about shorts and things like that. So I like banana plugs. If it's going to be a semi-permanent setup though, you can always just twist them together real good and tin the top of them to keep the wires together, and then you can use it like that. But I love banana plugs. I've probably got 50 pair. Loving the WiiM Pro with IEMA A07 and B1 Plus. Ooh, that's one heck of a little system there. You got there. Because you can use the WiiM Pro as basically a remote control. Set the volume control on the A07 like 75%. and then control volume through that. Sounds like a great system. Do I like bananas better than apples? Depends on what mood I'm in. Different fruit for different times. Depends on the apple too. Like it seems like bananas are all pretty much the same, but with apples, you get the honey one, you got the green ones, you got the golden delicious, get the red ones. There's like 7 different kinds of apples. Do any preamp exist for headphones? Well, most headphone amplifiers are a preamp of sorts. I don't know. I don't think so, man. I mean, DACs are kind of digital preamps, and then that would go into a headphone amp. Granny Smith, that's right. Brian Romska nailing it with the Apple trivia. Very good. A07 with the op amp mod or A08 Pro for JBL Studio. A07. It depends on what op amps you get, though, right? You can get some $3 op amps. You can get some $130 op amps. Honey Crisp, that's right. I like the pink lady. Stereo subwoofer outputs. Yes. Preamp outputs are stereo subwoofer. You have a right and you have a left. Brian Romska says, I helped. Schkit Saga is a preamp that many use with headphones. Yeah, I mean, you could get any preamp, really, and then run it into a headphone amp if you want to. Crown Macro Tech 2402. I'm not familiar with that one. Do you like the A07 sound as it is without tone controls? I do. I recall having a Dayton Audio APA 100, and it was very flat without tone controls. Just curious. Yeah, so that's the reason why I love the A07 is because it sounds good without anything. It doesn't sound as flat as most Class Ds. And I think it has to do with that TPA 3255 chipset. It's just very natural sounding. Very good. Very good. It's so good, in fact, that Topping used it in the PA3. So if Topping is using something, that's kind of like a stamp of approval. And the PA3 has no tone controls and it's a very good sounding amplifier if you can get it to work. And some, I don't know, issues, QA issues. And the TRS connectors are maddening to me. But yeah. So yes, answer your question, yes, the A07 sounds good. But the A08 Pro, same amp chipset with tone controls and a more powerful stock power supply. So the T808 Pro is kind of like the A07 with more power and tone controls. But I don't think you can roll the op amps on the A08 Pro. Would I buy a wire if your speakers accept it? No. No. I've tried it before. I've never really noticed any difference. But if you have a cheap like little bar that bridges it, you can always get some nice copper and just make your own jumper. Might be able to tell a difference. How about the A07 Pro? I haven't heard it. I'll probably get it though. All right, we got one more minute and then I gotta run. Would a 90s-ish Kenwood home receiver beat an A07? I doubt it. Trying to decide which way to build a turntable system for my daughter. Well, a 90s-ish Kenwood is probably borderline free. And I'm sure your daughter is going to be ecstatic with anything, right? Because anything's going to be better than nothing. I can't say with great confidence that the A07 is going to beat it because I don't know the Kenwood receiver, and I haven't heard any 90s Kenwood receivers. And if I did, it was in the 90s. So I probably don't remember how it sounded very, very well. If space is at a premium, then the A07. But yeah, I mean, like AVRs, most AVRs even now don't sound great for music. I don't know, maybe the 90s versions were different, but it just depends. I mean, depends on price, depends on space. And I can't say for certain whether or not the A07 is going to be better. All right, we're going to call it today. I appreciate y'all joining. It was a great time. I hope you all had a great holiday, New Year's, all that good stuff. So I am going to call it. So y'all have a great week. More content to come. So I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, and be safe. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.